Item number 5, tender contract for the 3 waters maintenance contract. Mr. Dennis Lewis. Good afternoon, Dennis.
Afternoon, Your Worship, Councillors. I have the tender report, recommendation report for the 3 waters maintenance contract, which includes electrical maintenance. I'm not going to read the report out, I'll take it as read and get straight into questions. I'm sure you've got a few.
Thanks very much, Dennis. Councillor Krastowski.
Just a couple of questions to start with, Mr. Lewis. This is a significant contract, and I noticed that we've had an external moderator. I'm assuming that this person took the place of a peer review type of scenario.
Peer review, moderator, probity auditor was there to ensure that the process was followed.
Okay, thank you. If I could, sorry, yeah.
One more.
One more. In the case of Downers changing ownership, would the new ownership company, would the council be made aware of that before we accept the new owners? The reason why I'm asking is we had a scenario not so long ago where Higgins changed ownership, I understand. And because it's a significant contract, be interested in your views.
We would certainly attempt to convey that information as soon as it became aware. Often we only become aware of change of ownership when it's made publicly known, and that would, could well be via the Friday mail out or something like that.
Councillor, did you have any more follow-up to that?
I wonder whether we perhaps, if the rest of the councillors agree with it, whether we could have a sort of a paragraph inside the contract that we are made aware before it's made publicly aware.
Yep.
Sure. Okay, we'll note that down. Thank you.
Just a comment, there will be assignment clauses in the contract, yes. Dennis, as a standard. Yep.
Councillor Cousins.
Through the chair, I wasn't at the meeting, this workshop this morning, so apologies for that. So I just want to clarify 2 things. That all the figures here are GST exclusive. All the ones that are in this agenda item are GST exclusive.
Excluding GST?
Yes. All of them.
Yes.
And why was the engineer's estimate was 12.5, including the limited day works, but the tender amount is plus $1 million. Why isn't that just included in there?
The engineer's estimate of 12.5 makes allowance for the $1 million worth
in that, yep.
of day works, which is something that you're not able to determine at the outset of the contract, and so that $1 million is added to the contract value. We're seeking approval to add that to the contract value as a day works.
Yes, a bit confusing. And finally, I did a bit of research into City Care. They're a good New Zealand company, and we're giving it to somebody who's Australian. It's not that I'm, patriotic or anything like that, but City Care seem to have a very good reputation. It's just
City Care are currently owned by Christchurch City Council, and they're currently up for sale. So who their owner of City Care will be in another 6 months?
Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
That's cool. That's all.
Thanks, Councillor Cousins. Councillor Park.
Yes, thank you. Just through the chair, Dennis, with this morning's workshop briefing, whatever you'd like to call it, did ask you about the actual spend.
Yes, the actual spend, annual actual spend for the 3 waters maintenance electrical contract and other works associated with that is $2.195 million. So $2,195,300.
Great. Okay, and of this sort of magnitude, there'd obviously be a release around this if this was passed, would there, or not? Yeah, there's just if there's a section out there that it's been given to another contractor at a higher amount, but it is in fact a cost efficiency of 2 contracts being brought together. I just would like the ratepayers to have that understanding.
Yeah, there will definitely be a news release.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Park.
So,
Body.
Your Worship, Mr. Lewis, if we look at the previous contract, which was Fullerton Hogan, I believe.
That's correct.
Are we comparing sums with sums? Was their tender including the 2?
The tender sum is identical. They all tendered on the same tender document.
So it's exactly the same basis. So that 2.1 would have been an inclusion.
The 2.195 that I referred to was the cost of contract works, the annual cost of contract works, not for Fulton Hogan's current contract. As I said, it included the electrical maintenance contract and also some other works that are being done that are now included in the new contract.
Through you, Your Worship, regularly we get a report on spills, all that sort of thing, which would be Fullerton Hogan's responsibility.
Yes.
And if I remember, under our criteria, they all met within whether it be 1 hour, 4 hours,
That's
whatever
correct.
our criteria was. Was that a factor taken into account when you've come to the conclusion through your peer review that this is the suitable contract?
Those things were considered by the tender evaluation team. That was one of the criteria. Yep.
Thank you.
Councillor Body, Councillor Hickling.
Oh, yes, thank you, Your Worship. Dennis, is it normal to have a 5-year +2 making a 9-year sort of overall contract, or is that one of our largest periods of contract?
It is normal to have a fixed term up front, whether it's 3 years, 4 years, 5 years or whatever, followed by extensions of time. That is normal. The time period can vary. With NZTA contracts, they're restricted to 3 years +1.
And what is what is our norm in the council?
Well, we have a variety. As I said, NZTA contracts are 3 +1, so all the road...
I'm not worried about their contracts. What is our
No,
actual
okay,
contract?
sorry. Our road, I was just about to say that the road maintenance contracts, so the signs contract, traffic markings, road maintenance are all 3 +1. The previous Three Waters contract was a 3 +1. We've got solid waste contracts in the order of 7 years +1. So there is a variety through council.
So what instigated the change to a 5 +2 when the previous contract was only...
The reasoning behind that was to try and provide a contract duration that was attractive to contractors so that they could mitigate their risks over the contract period, but also not have it that long that it had a significant impact on the contractor market.
So are you confident that this 9-year contract won't have a significant effect on the market?
It's currently a 5-year contract and I'm afraid I've got no crystal ball. I can't impact on that, and there are other forces outside of what we do. For instance, NZTA let the 9-year network outcomes contract for the Central Waikato that's had an impact on the contractor market in Taupo.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Truman.
So after this time period is up, does it then go out to open market?
After the 5 years,
After the, say if everything goes well after the 5 years in, say, the 2 + 2, after that, does it go out to open market?
yes,
Back out to tendering process?
yes.
Councillor Johns.
Mr. Lewis, one of the primary drivers for combining these contracts is to save administration and operation costs, correct?
One of the drivers.
One of the drivers. Do you have any idea, when reading this paper, it seems the biggest savings potentially in day works, which is something that we can't always estimate. Would that be correct?
That's correct.
Okay. We're allowing $1 million, is it, in day works over the 5-year contract?
Yes.
And previously we've been looking at over $2 million.
That's right.
So we just will have a plan to monitor that to make sure.
Yes. Yeah, we currently monitor monthly contract expenditures against budgets, contract budgets, as well as council budgets to make sure that they're tracking as we would expect.
Because it seems to be one of the biggest savings is potentially in that area.
One of the larger savings for this contract will be in the proactive maintenance that is done rather than reacting to things as they occur.
Thank you.
Councillor Chris
Chair,
Susky.
just a couple of more questions, if I may. The first one is that I'm sure that you would have done it, but just for my benefit, we would have used our connections through Bobless and Lesser connections in order to derive the best possible outcome.
Yes.
And secondly is that I would imagine that this contract, we would be expecting to improve our environmental outcomes, such as breaching of resource consents that currently have occurred because we have been reactive rather than proactive.
We currently don't breach any resource consents because of reactive as opposed to proactive. What we're aiming to do with proactive maintenance is to reduce the number of sewer spills that reduce the incidence of water main breaks, that sort of thing, and that will have a positive outcome on the environment.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lewis. Is anyone prepared to move this reasonably significant resolution here today?
Yes, I will.
Okay, thank you. Moved by Councillor Krasowski, seconded by Councillor Stewart. And thank you, Mr. Lewis, for the workshop this morning as well. I think on items such as large as these, it's a good idea to have some prior knowledge of this. So, been moved and seconded. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Item number 6. Owen Delaney Park and Crown Park floodlighting. Mr. Andrew Bowden. Good afternoon, Andrew.
Good afternoon, Your Worship and Councillors. The report is as read, but just something I'd like to confirm before I answer any questions is the Chief Executive Officer has managed to negotiate a discount from the price of the upgraded transformer of $21,000. So in the resolution at the bottom of the first page, should you decide to pass the resolution, the figure of 160,000 would change to 139,000.
Beautiful. We don't see many of those resolutions, do we?
Amazing.
Could I just say something on that? The credit must go to Danny Goff at Unison. Unison are very community-minded, and upon approach they were very reasonable and really did try and do a good thing for the community by offering that reduction. So I think we should actually give them kudos for that.
Thanks for that. Thank you, Rob, and thank you for your negotiations on our behalf. Okay, we haven't sort of
Sure, the
discussed
report
it yet, so
is as read, and I'll take
any questions of Mr. Bowden? Councillor Krasowski.
Quick question as regards to technology. Is that utilising the latest LED technology, or are we still using the older type?
Metal halide lights are still being used in a significant number of floodlighting projects. However, some football clubs like Chelsea, for example,
Good club.
have put time to discuss this. Have put LEDs in. So LED lights are not there at the moment. They're not cost effective. So metal halide are the ones that we have been advised by our electrical engineer, the ones we should be using. However, in other parts of the work that we've recently done in Taupo, for example, the South Domain lighting, they're all LED. But in flood lighting, they're not there yet.
Okay, thank you.
So just to clarify, Andrew, Owen Delaney Park lights are suitable for, if we went to tender for a Super 15 game or whatever,
They'd be
football
fine.
match or whatever,
They'd be fine.
they're suitable to Sky standards at the moment.
Yes, they are. And a significant part of that is the upgrade of the technology in the high definition cameras that Sky are using. Some time ago, when this project was its inception, Sky did review the lights at Owen Delaney Park, and that's what prompted the start of this part of the LTP. Subsequent to that, HD cameras came on board. The Jock Hobbs rugby tournament was one of the first that they'd used this new van, and they subsequently brought that for the football game in December last year. And they basically we reviewed that again with Sky after the competition. I even went in the van here when that football competition was there, and it's amazing what comes across on the broadcast. So it is very much part of the new HD cameras that they use.
Thanks, Andrew. Councillor Hickling.
Thank you, Your Worship. Andrew, just a wee concern about probably the maintenance and the upkeep of Owen Delaney Park lighting systems, because obviously they're 20-odd, 25, there was second-hand when we put them up there. We are leaving enough in the account to keep that
Operational,
Yeah.
an operational budget, definitely.
Yeah.
And the amount that I've noted in here, that 60,000, that we was really a catch-up from the past. And bearing in mind this project was always, was perceived as going to happen, some of that maintenance was kept back.
Yeah.
So really, it's a large amount of money, but it was kept back. And because the competition, the Jock Hobbs competition was coming up, it was decided to carry out the work for that catch-up to make sure that what we had there when the competition started was the very best that we could do in preparation for that.
Just so we have Council, we have an annual contract for the lighting maintenance, and what happens at the end of every year, that's built into our asset management planning as we go forward. Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Just a question, Andrew. Being the Taupo Football Club being the major beneficiaries of these lights, have we asked for any contribution from them? Has that been?
No, not at the moment. No, I haven't. I'm not sure they've got sufficient funding to supplement what we've got here. We can surely ask them, but I'll be very surprised.
I just put that question out there.
Well, what I'd suggest, Your Worship, you do is give them a decent stand, then maybe they'll cough up some money for the lights.
Okay, you can always ask the question.
Yep.
I see the chap over, I think, over on the left is nodding his head. So no problems. All right. Any other questions or queries?
Just one on procedure. We're altering the resolution. We don't have to have any form of procedure like an amendment from the 160. Okay, we don't. Fine.
Because you've not read the resolution, so you can make a resolution at any time until it's been moved and seconded.
Okay. Cool. All right. So amended resolution there. Down to 139. Have we got a mover, please, for that? Councillor Hickling, seconded by Councillor Cousins. Oh, sorry. Slow, Rosie. Yeah. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you, Andrew, and thank you for your work on that. Lovely.